What's up, guys? Today, I'm going to be reacting to and giving my thoughts on the Clone Wars Season 7 trailer. I know this is a little late, but with the season streaming in just a week, 7 days time, it will be available to watch. I think there's no better time to do this, so let's get into it.
Soon, the galaxy will be remade. The Jedi and the Republic will die.
Well, yeah,
I
no
sent
shit.
the plot to destroy the Jedi.
I feel like they said that same thing in the prequels, but
Why would anyone walk
I don't know.
away from being a Jedi? We were trained to be keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
that's another quote I feel like was in one of the prequel movies, but I really forget which movie it was, if that was Qui-Gon or if that was later, but
exist.
I'm really excited to see this part, definitely.
All part of the plan. The plan
It's so crazy how they made Maul. Oh, dude, look at Anakin's face.
is about to change.
Look how angry he is. That's one thing I'm really excited to see. That's one thing I loved about the Clone Wars that I just can't wait to see more of, is how Anakin, just to see him slowly turn to the dark side, because I feel like that was really rushed in the prequels. And get to see more with Padme, that's great. Yeah, look at his face. He's so angry, and I love that. I love seeing that,
To this.
how his emotions kind of overcome him, and how... Oh, that's great. Okay, we get Maul, of course. Ahsoka and the Maul duel, that's great. Okay, awesome, wow. Okay, that's like at least the fourth time I've seen that trailer. I mean, I'm surprised I've only seen it that many times, but it still just gets me really hyped up and super excited because there's so much going on there. And even though it's a little basic and it feels a little like predictable, like I don't know what we're gonna get that's super new or super groundbreaking with this last season, because I feel like they just have to tie things up, but I'm still so excited. And it's really weird because we know Maul doesn't die, we know Ahsoka doesn't die, because they're both in Rebels, right? So we know these characters are going to live through the season. So it's not so much, what's going to happen to the characters, but how it's going to happen and how it's going to set up. And I guess that's really kind of the point of the prequels as well. Like, we already know Anakin turns to the dark side, but we want to see how it happens. So if anything, I think the Clone Wars as a TV show is just as important as the prequels in explaining that, because, like I said, I feel like the prequels in a lot of ways rushed things. Like, they rushed the development of Anakin, and it just kind of felt disconnected between the movies. And I think the Clone Wars really does a good job at bridging that gap, especially that we get to see Anakin, see him grow in both good and bad ways. One of my absolute favorite things about the Clone Wars is that it showed Anakin sort of in his beginning of Revenge of the Sith state, if that makes sense, right? Like, obviously Phantom Menace Anakin's just a little kid, so he's kind of a different character. Attack of the Clones Anakin is kind of a whiny, psychopathic crybaby, to be honest. Like, he's not really enjoyable to watch in Attack of the Clones whatsoever. And then, of course, he turns evil in Revenge of the Sith. But that moment, or that like small period of time, about a half hour or an hour of the film in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, it's where we see Anakin at his most relatable and his most enjoyable, right? He's arrogant, overconfident, emotional, impulsive, but at the same time, he's still trying to do good. He's still trying to justify, his arrogance and his power with this idea, this drive to do good. And you see how his emotions take hold of him because of that. And I don't know, that's something I really want to see more of. And especially the fact that, so I've heard at least, that Season 7 is going to go right up until the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. Like, this is it for sure. There's going to be no more gaps to fill in between this timeline. It's going to go right up to the movie, which is something I'm super excited to see how they do. I'm excited to see Ahsoka's role in this, but I don't know, for me, I'm even more excited to see what Maul does, because Maul is one of the most ridiculous characters in a lot of ways, right? Like, the fact that they brought him back in the Clone Wars was pretty stupid, but they still did it in such a way that it didn't even bother me. It was still fun. I mean, it was ridiculous and dumb, but it was a lot of fun, and I think they actually made Maul a character, and actually really liked Maul. And from what I remember, because we do see him in Rebels, but the way we left off in Clone Wars was he just got defeated by Sidious, and Sidious was, shooting lightning at him, pretty much torturing him, and then saying, I'm not going to kill you, I have a plan for you yet. And that's one of the things that I've been the most excited about seeing Season 7 get brought back. And maybe there's something I'm missing, maybe there's a book that was written. I have to admit, I'm not that caught up on a lot of the books, so I know there are a lot of canon books I still have yet to read. But I don't know, I mean, it pretty much seems like Maul is doing something very important here, and that's super cool, right? Because we all know it's all Sidious's will, right? It's his will, and Maul is sort of a puppet, but I could also see Maul trying to do something on his own, and maybe trying to overthrow Sidious, or who knows what he's going to do, but end up being exiled from it. It's hard to tell, to be honest. I mean, Maul's pretty much a solo actor. He kind of does his own thing. He doesn't really take orders from anyone, so he's kind of a loose cannon in a lot of ways, and I think the way we've seen him interact in the later seasons of the Clone Wars, he kind of acted as almost like a political figure, a very influential, I guess, like, crime figure, if you want to call him that. Like, I know he organized a criminal syndicate with, like, the Black Sun and the Pikes and all that, and he was kind of controlling that and also manipulating, Mandalore. So that was interesting. So I really don't know what we're going to see of him, but I'm really excited to see whatever it is, because Maul is just a lot of fun. He's just evil, he's cunning, he's ruthless, and just really smart and very interesting. Like, philosophically, this character has a lot of just really cool stuff to say, and I think, I don't know, I'm just really excited to see what they do with Maul. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't see anything of Ventress, because Ventress became one of my favorite characters towards the end of the show, right? At the beginning of the Clone Wars, she was kind of bland, just really a minion of Count Dooku, kind of annoying, really. But when she left Count Dooku and went to Dathomir, and then, eventually left that because Dathomir was kind of decimated, and just became a bounty hunter, that was super cool, because you actually see this, like, complex side of her that she's, in a lot of ways, actually wants to do good in some odd way, but just doesn't know how, and still has that evil side of her that's just self-serving. But she's really fascinating. I loved where they took her character, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, it's sad to say, that we might not see anything of her, because it's only one season, and from what I remember, when season 6 was canceled, they had, like, enough material that was already written, or at least in the process of being written, to do at least 2 more seasons. There's a whole bunch of arcs they were going to do. I think they're going to do one with Quinlan Vos and Ventress, like, in an arc together. They're going to do a lot more with Ahsoka. So I know we're going to see some of that. We're going to see stuff with Ahsoka and with Maul, and of course with Anakin and Obi-Wan. But I don't know if we're going to get to see anything with Ventress, or if we're going to see the Quinlan Vos arc. I really don't know. Maybe there's information out there on the internet to lead me to a conclusion there. But either way, 7 days, we're going to be able to know. So, just something to think about. I hope they have enough space to work with. I hope they have enough episodes to really get done what they want to and explain the things that were kind of left unexplained from the end of the show. So, I don't know. I'm really excited to see what they do about it. Like, I'm so hyped for this show, guys. Like, I mean, I watched this show when it was coming out, episode by episode, and I was in, like, I don't know, I was pretty young when it came out. I guess, like, it's hard to say what year it was, but either way, like I was a kid watching these episodes for the first time, and it's pretty clear that when this show was made, being aired on Cartoon Network, that it was targeted towards the audience of Cartoon Network. So definitely more of a kid vibe, but still a little bit of that adult edge in there, a little bit more, not quite Nickelodeon level, kid show, but it was definitely targeted towards younger audiences, especially towards the beginning. And what I really love about this show is how as the seasons progressed, as the audience got older with the show, they could start doing more complex things, darker things, taking it in new directions. And, as kids got older, they began to appreciate that stuff more, and that's what people wanted. And now we're coming back years later, and all those little kids that watched the show as it came out are adults. So season 7 is actually catered towards an older audience, which is something that is super cool because, let's face it, some of us older fans of Star Wars don't really get that a lot of the times because we still have to, realize that it is, it is a show for everyone. And, I don't want Quentin Tarantino to direct Star Wars really because I think part of what makes it great is that it's a family show. But we do like that edge there. We do like that darkness and getting to see, different things, new things, that not just the bright colors and lights. So we get to actually see some depth and some character development. And that's what I'm super excited for, is that this is for us. This is for the older fans, right? As much as I liked Rebels, it's not Clone Wars, right? And, a lot of the Star Wars now, it's, it feels like it feels a little babyish. It feels like it's for little kids, which to be honest, it is in a way. But Clone Wars season 7, it's going to be a whole different thing. So I have very high expectations for this, very high hopes. I am super excited. What do you guys think? What are you most excited for in season 7? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, peace.